The cold wind cut through the empty streets, and snowflakes drifted like silent prayers over the city. On that quiet Christmas Eve, when homes glowed with warm lights and families gathered around laughter and meals, a poor single father named Daniel trudged home with numb hands and a heart burdened by the weight of another disappointing day. He had just lost his third job of the year, and the little money he had saved for his son's Christmas gift had slipped through his fingers like melting snow. But as he turned down the narrow alley leading to his old rented room, he heard a faint cry, soft yet desperate, slicing through the stillness of the night. That trembling sound, like a plea wrapped in frost, would change everything. Pushpin, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the beauty of helping others, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Ripple of Kindness. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Daniel froze. His breath formed shaky clouds in front of him as the cry grew louder. Beneath a street lamp flickering in the cold, he saw a tiny bundle lying on the icy road. He rushed toward it, heart pounding, and as he gently lifted the blanket, his eyes widened. It was a baby. No more than a few months old, with red cheeks from the freezing air and small fists clenched in silent fear. Daniel felt the world spin. He had barely enough food for himself and his 7-year-old son, Liam. He had no stable job, no savings, and no one to rely on. But in that moment, as the child whimpered softly against his chest, he knew he couldn't walk away. He glanced around, hoping someone, anyone, would appear and claim the child, but the street was empty, quiet, lifeless. The reality hit him: someone had abandoned this baby in the cold. Daniel's heart broke at the thought. His own childhood had been marked by loss, and the idea of leaving someone so helpless alone stirred something deep within him. Shivering from both cold and confusion, he knew he couldn't leave the baby there. So he wrapped the child tightly in the blanket and hurried home. His small room was barely warm. The heater was old and weak, the walls thin. Liam woke up rubbing his sleepy eyes, confused to see his father holding a baby. Daniel tried to explain with simple words, telling his son that the baby needed help and warmth. Liam, innocent and pure-hearted, took one look at the tiny child and stretched out his small hands. He whispered that they should help because no one deserves to be alone on Christmas. His words pierced deeper than any hardship Daniel had faced. They had so little, yet his son was ready to give the little they had without question. Daniel placed the baby gently on their only couch, wrapped with extra blankets. He heated a bottle of milk, unsure if it was right, unsure of anything, but doing the best he could. The baby drank slowly, then fell asleep, tiny breaths soft like snow landing on windows. For a moment, amidst the dim light and old peeling paint, the small room felt warm, alive, almost magical. But the reality of his situation soon clouded the moment. Daniel had no money to buy diapers or formula. His own rent was overdue. The fear of being evicted hovered constantly over him like a storm ready to break. He knew keeping the baby would only bring more challenges, possibly even trouble with the authorities. Yet he couldn't shake the feeling that fate had brought this child to him for a reason. That night, he barely slept. He kept checking on the baby, afraid the child would stop breathing in the cold. Memories from his past returned. His own father had abandoned him when he was just 5. He remembered waiting by the door, hoping he would return, but the door remained closed. He had sworn he would never allow another child to feel the loneliness he once felt. And perhaps, without realizing it, that promise guided him now. Christmas morning arrived with a soft glow filtering through the thin curtains. Daniel woke up to find Liam sitting beside the baby, humming a little tune. Seeing them together tugged at Daniel's heart. It was a picture of innocence and hope, two children brought together by pain yet wrapped in something pure. But as the hours passed, Daniel knew he had to make a decision. He had to inform someone. He couldn't hide the fact that he found an abandoned child. With a heavy heart, he called the authorities. Officers arrived, gently picked up the baby, and asked Daniel to explain everything. He recounted every detail with shaking hands, afraid they would think he had done something wrong. But their faces softened as they listened. Before leaving, one officer pointed out how carefully the baby had been kept warm. "You might have saved the child's life," he said quietly. Those words stayed with Daniel long after they left. Days passed, and Daniel couldn't stop thinking about the baby. He wondered if the child was safe, warm, cared for. Meanwhile, he continued searching for work, struggling to keep food on the table. The sadness in Liam's eyes told him the boy missed the baby too. Their home felt quieter, emptier, as though a small spark had left with the child. Then one morning, Daniel received a call from social services. They asked him to come in. His heart raced as he made his way to the office, unsure of what to expect. When he arrived, the same baby, now healthier, warmer, brighter, was placed gently into his arms. The social worker told him that no one had come forward to claim the child. They had reviewed his case thoroughly, and although he had financial struggles, they believed he had something far more valuable, a genuine heart and the ability to give love. They offered him the chance to foster the baby temporarily, with possible adoption later if he wished. Tears filled Daniel's eyes. He had nothing material to offer, but he had love. Real, unconditional love. He agreed without a second thought. Life did not magically become easier. He still worked long hours at small jobs. He still struggled with bills. But something changed within their home. The baby brought laughter, warmth, and a sense of purpose. Daniel's days were no longer filled with only worry, they were filled with meaning. Liam, now suddenly an older brother, became protective and caring. Their small family, once broken and quiet, blossomed into something whole and vibrant. Months later, Daniel secured a stable job at a repair shop. His dedication and honesty impressed the owner, who offered him a permanent position with better pay. Slowly, life began to change. Their home became warm, their meals a little fuller, their hearts a lot lighter. The baby, now named Noel, honoring the night he was found, grew into a joyful child who filled every corner of their lives with laughter. Christmas returned once again, and this time, their home glowed not with expensive lights or decorations, but with love. Daniel stood by the window, watching Liam and baby Noel play together, and he felt tears in his eyes, tears of gratitude, of healing, of a man who once thought his life had no room for miracles, yet ended up living one. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Ripple of Kindness. Your support truly means the world. Before we end, Sparkle's special request: comment below. Kindness creates families, if you believe even one act of compassion can change a life. And so, on a night when the world felt cold and unforgiving, one small act of courage transformed the fate of a helpless child, and healed the heart of a father who had once lost all hope. Sometimes, the greatest miracles don't come wrapped in ribbons. They arrive as cries in the dark, waiting for someone brave enough to answer.